Dzień dobry. Okay, so in this tutorial we're going to be looking at the instrumental case. Now, the instrumental case doesn't exist in English, but it's very important in Polish. First of all, what we're going to look at is how it affects singular nouns, then plural nouns, then how it affects adjectives. So, adjectives with singular nouns and adjectives with plural nouns. So, although it doesn't exist in English, it's something that exists in Polish, so it's something different that you will learn. It's not really that complicated. So once you learn the endings, the rules, it's quite easy to put into practice. So first of all, we've got some singular words here: masculine, feminine, and neuter. So I'm just going to put here M for masculine, F and N. So lekarz, lekarka, miasto. So these are the nominative forms of these nouns. So the sort of default dictionary forms of the nouns. So we could say something like Jan. So lekarz is a male doctor. Lekarka is a female doctor. Miasto is a town or city. So Jan pracuje jako lekarz. So Jan works as doctor, and Joanna pracuje jako lekarka. And let's say something like Manchester. So, in each of these examples, we've not used the verb to be. So instead of saying Jan is a doctor, or Joanna is a doctor, or Manchester is a town or city, then we've done Jan works as a doctor, and we've used to instead of the verb to be. So the instrumental is used for, it's used after verbs of being, becoming, and calling. So if you want to say what somebody's job is using the verb być, which means to be, jestem, jesteś, jest, jesteśmy, etc., you've got to use the instrumental case. If you want to talk about somebody's nationality, well, when you talk about nationality, you don't say somebody's English or Polish, you say they're an Englishman, or a Pole, or a Turk, or a Swede. So we don't use the nationality adjective, we use the nationality noun. And the noun changes when you use the verb być. So we'll look at that as well. So what we're going to do now is we're going to see what happens when we use the verb być, which means to be. So instead of saying jako pracuje jako lekarz, we're going to say Jan jest lekarzem. So we have to add em for masculine, singular, and Manchester, jest. We also add em, but we have to lose the o from neuter. A lot of neuter nouns end in a vowel, so we remove the ending, the final vowel, and add em, jeste. Now for feminine nouns, what happens is Joanna, jest. Is on. So a changes to on. So we can say Jan jest lekarzem, Joanna jest lekarką, Manchester jest miastem. So if you want to say something like somebody's a child, so Pavel, instead of saying he's a boy, saying he's a child, jest. So dziecko. You lose the O, but because there's a K, you can't stick a EM in, you have to put EM. So, Pavel jest dzieckiem. So here we've got some more examples. This time I've chosen for masculine and feminine, I've chosen nationality nouns. And also the word dziecko, meaning child, should be down here at the end. So, I've chosen Polak, Anglik, so Pole for man, Polka for Englishman, Angelika, Englishwoman. So also what I want to do is show that when you've got a K or a G at the end of masculine words, it changes to EM. So if you want to say that John jest, Jan jest and John. So Jan jest Polakiem and John jest Anglikiem. And then if you said that Joanna jest, I've already seen. So it's just on again. And then Jane jest Angielką. And we could also say that Paweł jest dzieckiem. So when there's a K or a G at the end of a masculine word, singular, it's not EM, it's EN. So Polakiem, not Polakiem, not Anglican, Polakiem, Anglikiem. Okay, so to summarise how the nouns change, what the endings are. So most nouns, it's going to be masculine singular, just add EM. So for example, lékař becomes lékařem. Okay. If there's a K or a G at the end of a masculine singular word, then it's EM. So we've seen already, Polak becomes Polakiem. Now, a lot of words like artist, a lot of masculine words for men, especially for things like jobs, like artista, dentista, end with an A, so they look feminine. So what happens is that they behave in the instrumental like feminine nouns do. So artista becomes artiston, dentista, dentiston. Now for feminine nouns, we've seen already, like lekarka becomes lekarką, polka becomes polką. If the word ends with an I, like pani, then it becomes panion. And if there's an accented consonant at the end of the word, like ch, sh, then you've got the word here. Nic becomes nicion. Viesh becomes vieshion. Also the accented letter, like the accented C, the C with the acute accent, then you lose the accent in the instrumental form. Because this is ch, but when you've got a C followed by an I, it becomes a ch anyway. The same with an S with the acute accent, it's sh, but when you put an I after it, it turns into the S turns into a sh, so there's no need for the accent. Okay, so now what we're going to do is look at neuter. So to make some space on the board. Okay, so now we come to neuter singular nouns. Now, for the most part, if you've got like a word like miasto, meaning town, kino, meaning city, what you do is you lose the last vowel and just simply add en. So it's very similar to how the majority of masculine singular nouns behave. But the thing with neuter nouns is a lot of them, they have lots of different types of endings, so that affects the instrumental endings. So if we look at something like the jetko, so when a word ends with IE, KO or GO, then the ending is EN, so jetkiem. And also you have to lose the, so jetko loses the O first, and then you add EN. So we could say Piotrov, jest, jetkiem. And another type of instrumental ending for neuter nouns is, if you've got a noun which ends iao, like imiao, then the ending is yeniem. So imieniem. So imiao becomes imieniem. And then we've got etchia as well. So we've got, if a word ends l, like zjeżel, then it becomes enciem. So zjeżeciem. Okay, so zjeże becomes zjeżęciem. Okay, so now we're going to look at plural. So here I've got some singular nouns, so masculine, feminine, neuter. So we've got lekarz, lekarka, muzeum, and also we've got Polak and Polka. Now we could say something like they are doctors. So oni są, and then lekarz becomes lekarzami. So we can see we add ami to the to make it plural in the instrumental. One są lekarkami. Again, it ends ami. Now, in the nominative, it already ends with na, so you just have to add mi to it. So, although it ends ami, you just basically add the mi. Now, museum, if you want to say they are museums, then museum, what you do is you lose the and then you just add ami. So są muzeami. So and the same sort of thing happens. So Polak becomes oni są Polakami, and one są Polkami. So they are Poles, they're Polish men, they're Polish females. Okay, so now we're going to look at adjectives and how adjectives are affected in the instrumental case when they're used with nouns. So what I've done here is I've got dobry, dobra, dobre. So these are masculine, feminine and neuter nominative forms for the adjective, which means good. So dobre, but when you use them in the instrumental, the endings, so you, let's say you remove, so think of this as being the kind of, the dob being the sort of stem of it, and then that becomes dobrin, and then this becomes dobrom, and this becomes dobrin. So it's basically im, on, and in. So im, ym for the masculine and neuter singular adjectives, and on for the feminine. So if we look at an example of, if you say he's a good doctor, so let's put them as dobry and lekarz. So we already know that the lekarz becomes lekarzem, and the dobry becomes dobrym. So if you say he is, on jest dobrym lekarzem. And then if we say she's a good doctor, so lekarka is a female doctor, and dobra for good, we talked about something which is feminine. Dobra lekarka, so that's the nominative. So we already know that the noun, the adjective, the noun changes from a to on, and the adjective also changes in the same way. So she is a good doctor, ona jest dobrą lekarką. And the last one we've got is we want to say something is a good town. So we've got the word miasto. So neuter, so we need to, so dobre. So we want to say Manchester is, let's think of York. it's in, on, in, so the masculine is sort of like in, and the noun is masculine adjective in, and the noun and the feminine adjective on, and the noun on, and the neuter, like the masculine, in and obviously there are some exceptions to these, but these are the kind of the majority, the general kind of rule. Okay, so what we're going to do now is look at we're going to look at some more singular adjectives. Okay, so now we're going to look at three more adjectives. We've got angielski, angielska, and angielskie. So before we looked at dobry, I'm just calling it dobre, dobra, and dobre. So the endings were Y, A, and E. But here you can see the endings are I, A, and IE. So it's because there's a K at the end. So if you've got an adjective where the base form has a K towards the end before the ending, then K or G, then you have to do this. So let's see what happens to, if you want to say he's an English doctor. So we've got the same nouns, lekarz, lekarka, miasto. So on, jest, angielskim. So the adjectives in the instrumental, whereas the dobre, dobra, and dobre become, if you think of dobre, dobra, and dobre, these become dobrym, dobrą, and dobrym. So the endings are in, on, and in. But for when you've got like angielski, the examples of use angielska, angielska, angielskie, just as the nominatives are different, the instrumental will be different from these ones. So it's in, on, and in. So we've got angielskim, angielską, and angielskim. So it's quite simple. I mean, the feminines don't change at all, on and on. So if we summarise for the endings for adjectives, for singular forms of adjectives in instrumental, for masculine it's going to be im or im, and feminine on, and for the neuter in or im. Okay, so just because it depends what adjective, what's at the end of the adjective, it might sometimes have to be this for the masculine and neuter. Okay, so now we're going to look at the plural forms of adjectives in the instrumental. Okay, so now we look at plural of adjectives in the instrumental. So what I've got here is, I've got dobre, dobra, dobre, and wysoki, wysoka, wysokie. So we've got the nominative of dobre, dobra, and dobre, and also the nominative of wysoki, wysoka, wysokie. So we've got the two different types of adjective. So we've got the general one, like dobre is the main type of adjective, and wysoki is an example of one with a K before the ending. So to look at this one first, I mean this will be the same for things like nowe, nowa, nowe, or białe, 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 czarny, czarna, czarne. So majority of adjectives behave like this. So in the masculine singular, what you do is, for all of the plurals, the ending is imi. So dobrymi, so it doesn't matter whether it's masculine, feminine, or neuter. So we think of, we've got lekarz, doctor, so we make that plural, lekarzami. So oni są dobrymi lekarzami. They are good doctors. And then they are doing different so it stands out better. On sont, and then le caca becomes, in the instrumental becomes le cacami, sont dobrými le cacami. Then if we say that they are good towns, so yes, they are good children, so we've got dzieci. So dzieci, children in the instrumental plural. Dziecko, it's irregular, it's like an exception, but we won't go into that. We needed something. So we want to say they are good children. Sont dobrými. So dobrými. So it's always dobrými. And then if we say he's a tall doctor, so yes, they are tall doctors, so again, lékařami. Oni sont vysokými, so it's ended with imi. Oni sont vysokými lékařami. One sont, they are tall female doctors, so again, lékařkami, and vysokými. And they have tall children. On